Hey everybody, Ira Miller here, the Villages Expert, coming to you live tonight. And we're going to start this chat. This is our first chat that, well, actually we've done a couple with Gus Grizzard before, but this is actually just myself tonight, taking people's chats. So I have Melody. Hey Melody. Thanks for coming on. Hi, Donna. Appreciate you all showing up to this live event. I'm kind of copying Skip Smith. He had a really good idea. However, I think I did mine first when Gus and I did our chat, our live chat in Orlando. So I have myself set up here locally in the Villages, and I'm willing to go ahead and field any questions. If anybody wants to talk to me, you can hit, there's a link up there where it says the Villages Expert, and then it has it's called a Discord link. You can hit that, and then it'll lead you to all the instructions on how to go ahead and we can talk rather than just chatting back and forth. So if you want to do that, that's always available to you. To talk to me rather than, in the chat. But I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. It's your show, actually. It's not my show. I'm just here for you and answer any questions that you may have. We can talk about current events, whatever's going on. Pretty much, I'm your eyes and ears here in the Villages to help you with understanding how the Villages works, and also not just the Villages, but I've been really working heavily on other communities around the Villages now, just to give people a choice. And it seems like a lot of people are kind of coming here, and it might be looking around, seeing that some of the homes that they can buy in the Villages, might be able to get a little more of a home in one of the surrounding communities. So I've been doing as much as I can to try to get like the plantation video going. This weekend I was over at On Top of the World, and I was videoing their models. So I'll just talk a little bit about that. They have 4 series of models, starting with the cottages. The cottages are like, it's the On Top of the World's version of the Villages villas. And they're just awesome. So I videoed 3 of their cottage series, or villas, I'm going to call them. Webb, Stone Creek calls them garden homes. So I was over there too, and many of you have probably seen that video over there at Webb. So, hey, I got Michaela on there. Hey, Michaela, your home came out great. We're going to, Michaela, she actually bought a home from me, and we totally renovated it, painted it inside and out, did a lot of modifications, put in some closets. So we're getting ready to do a video on Michaela's home, and we're going to show a transition from before and after. So stay tuned for that. That'll be pretty cool. Melody, do you know when the movie theater will be finished with renovations? I guess you're talking about the one in Spanish Springs, the original one. And honestly, I don't think there's any hurry to get that done because of the COVID virus, and they're not going to go ahead and open that up anytime soon. But I actually don't, they have plywood all around the front of it, but I don't see any work going on at all in there. I have a listing that's right behind the movie theater in the Villas of Spanish Springs. It's a 2-story attached condo. It's awesome. We just put that up last week on our video channel. And so I'm over there quite a bit, and I don't really see any work going on over there, so I really don't know. So I'm asked, are there plans for a future new square near Chitty Chatty? The latest news that I've heard is that they're not planning on building another square. So, you know, the villages are always very hush-hush, and they keep their cards very close to their vest. They don't let anybody know, but I do have some friends that work over there at the sales office, and that's about the best source that I can gather information from, or from my sales friends over there. And they're telling me that there's not going to be another square, that management is telling them there's not going to be any more squares. So Chitty Chatty, if there was going to be a square, you know, I kind of surveyed the whole area. In my opinion, if there was going to be a square, it would be right to the south of where they're building right now. It wouldn't be anywhere near Chitty Chatty, because you have Brownwood. Brownwood's too close to Chitty Chatty for them to be building a square. So in my opinion, there is a road, I think it might be 439, I forget the exact name of it, but you have the Turnpike exit right there, and they have the federal prison, the Coleman Federal Prison, right there as well. So I would think the best place for the villages to put a square right now would be right at that exit. I mean, think of the people that would come off that exit and be visiting that square all the time if you had the square right off the Turnpike exit. So that would be my my intuition for you as to where a new square would go in if they plan on putting one in there. So how are home sales with this COVID going on? So here's what happened. It was crazy. As soon as Florida hit phase 1, before we really started, you know, catching fire with this COVID thing, people were calling. I was selling a lot of homes just right from my videos, and it worked very well. Everybody, even Michaela, she can attest to. She bought her home from what was it? A Zoom, Michaela, I think. Zoom or FaceTime, I forget what it was, but I did it off my cell phone, and then I made a video later for her so she could really see the layout of her home. But so sales went gangbusters. I had pretty much all I could handle with home sales, and I still have a board full of sales, but it's slowed down now a little bit. Some people are fearful that if they fly down here to Florida and purchase a home, when they go back, they might get quarantined. So I have some people coming down in a car, you know, driving down. So kind of stealth coming in, buying a home and getting out. So sales are still pretty good as far as that goes. So how safe is it to go to the villages for looking at open houses? I think everybody's been very careful as far as providing masks and providing gloves. I myself have hand sanitizers and wipes and masks for people if they want to go in and see one of the homes. So in my opinion, I feel like it's pretty safe here. And yes, there are still open houses going on right now. Hey, Becky. Let's see, what else? Skip. Hey, buddy. If we were to buy outside of the villages but near, what don't we have access to in the villages? Basically, you do not have access to the executive golf courses and the swimming pools and the rec centers. That's what you do not have access to. You do have access to the championship golf courses. You do have access to the squares. So depends on, you know, what your needs are and what you need in a lifestyle. LG asks, is the Del Webb Stone Creek a good alternative to the villages? What are the HOA fees? Also, the Del Webb and Ocala, is it safe up there? It appears Ocala has a high crime rate. And so I had somebody say that exact same thing to me as far as Ocala having a high crime rate. I live in Ocala. I live in the southeast section. Look, Ocala is a major city. It's probably the biggest city around, and around the city area, you have low-income housing, and you might have a higher crime rate in that area. But, you know, look, I can't talk a whole lot about crime rate because we're supposed to be neutral parties, and we always refer people to call the police department and ask them what it is. But I can tell you that up there around on top of the world, Del Webb, Stone Creek, on that Highway 200 College Road corridor up there, it's just mostly retirement communities that are up there. You have Oak Run, you have Pine Run, the airport, but as far as Del Webb Stone Creek goes, it's much smaller than what the Villages is. They call that resort style living, and so it's like visiting a resort. And they have spas there, they have indoor pools there, they have saunas, they have eucalyptus rooms, they have a great workout facility. They'll have all kind of clubs up there. They have one of those pools, giant resort style pools where you can just walk right in to it. So it's really nice up there. $200 and I think it's $210. $210 a month for the HOA. $210, $211, $212. I think it's right around there. Okay, let's see. If we buy outside of the Villages, how do you get service and gas for your golf cart? Well, for instance, Stonecrest. Stonecrest has just blown up. I have probably sold 6 homes in Stonecrest in the last 2 months. And there's an access path right out of Stonecrest to the Walmart right there. They have the gas station right there. They have a Wawa down a little bit further ways, down a little past the Lowe's. So there's plenty of gas for your golf cart if you live in Stonecrest or Spruce Creek South. That's another community. So no problem with getting gas, but if you live like in Del Webb, Spruce Creek, I know it gets kind of confusing. Stone Creek, Spruce Creek, Stonecrest, Spruce Creek South, it's kind of crazy, but I'll keep it together for you. But Del Webb, Spruce Creek is about 2 more miles past Stonecrest to the north of the Villages, and so you kind of just travel around there. You just have to, you know, if you have a gas golf cart. I think just about everybody has an electric cart at Del Webb Spruce Creek Country Club. Not many gas carts there. You just have to have a 5-gallon container. Trying to find maps or info regarding flood zones for all the new areas of the Villages being built south of 44. Not able to find on Sumter County website. Are any of the new areas in a flood zone? Yes, Chitty Chatty is in a flood zone area. Chitty Chatty was pretty much, you know, there was a lot of fill brought in to that area to start building homes in that Chitty Chatty area. So that is in a flood zone. Not all of it, but some of it is in a flood zone. So you will want to check and find, and just go to, I have a flood zone right in my MLS, that's how I check for flood zones, through my MLS. But I believe you can go to the property appraisers. So if you type in Sumter County Property Appraiser and bring up the property appraiser's website, you'll be able to find flood maps through the Sumter County Property Appraisers there. Oh, hey, Marilyn. So Marilyn actually was one of the other people who asked me about the crime rate in Ocala, and she was kind of fearful of what she had learned as well. And I just, like I said, I live in Ocala, and I just, I don't see it. My nephew is actually an Ocala police officer, so that's how I kind of know where it's kind of contained. And it's just in and around, the downtown area, but it's not spread out. And it's just like any other major city that you see crime in, but there's not a lot of crime there. There just isn't. Not compared to some of the news reports that you hear about today. So Marilyn asks, what new communities are still building new homes? Well, Stonecrest, they are still building new homes. Del Webb Spruce Creek is not, but Del Webb Stone Creek is in Ocala, and on Top of the World are building new homes. And then there's a new area called Trilogy up in the northern part of the villages, and they're just now getting up and running. They're being built by Shea Homes, which is a national builder, but it's probably maybe a fifth of the way built out. It has a long way to go up there. Okay, Michaela was saying, yeah, it was Zoom. And super easy, and you were so helpful with giving us details and helping with finding contractors. So thank you, Michaela. And that's what I do for just about everybody. Today you can get some good deals on some homes that just need updating, and a lot of people don't know where to go, and they're fearful of buying a home that needs updating, but I can help you out with that and just refer the people that help Michaela here. And it's kind of like one-stop shopping with them. You don't have to have a contractor for this, a contractor for that. These guys pretty much do it all. And so she can attest to how fair they were, how good they were, the attention to detail. So we can get you taken care of. So don't worry about having to replace carpet or replace granite or cabinet doors or painting or anything like that. We can get you all taken care of. PGH Picks. We were down in the villages last week. I went to an open house on Sunday. No masks. Wife loves what she saw, and we are looking into moving. When we do, yeah, you'll be calling me. All right. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. Look, I'm mask optional. So I had some folks today that asked me if I would wear a mask because he was a trumpet player, and he did not want to risk getting the COVID-19 virus and infecting his lungs and messing him up where he couldn't play the trumpet anymore. So I was good with it. I said, fine. And I wore my mask. But when I first come in and I greet you, I'll ask you, do you want me to wear a mask? If you don't, that's fine. That's just me. Everybody's different. Are the restaurants open in the villages? Is it safe from COVID-19? So there is not a lot of COVID-19, I can tell you, here in the villages. If you go to the Villages News Network, I actually have a video on all the different news agencies that you can go to around here. The POA, paper, the Villages News Network, the Daily Sun. So if you look in there, you search for my News in the Villages video, Talk of the Villages is another one. So that's all in there. So I highly encourage you to check it out, but there's not a lot of COVID going on here in the Villages, I can tell you that. And the restaurants are open, 50% capacity right now. The bars, any bars are closed, but there's no just bars here, I don't think, per se. Everybody serves food. And so if they serve food and alcohol, then all that's available. Gina, why when searching patio courtyard villas typically reads, good investment property or vacation home? Why is this? Are they not recommended for full-time occupancy? Well, probably because of the population that's in those communities, in those villa communities. And I would say probably about 10%, maybe 15% of a villa neighborhood are couples. And full-time couples. So for a couple to move full-time into a villa, a patio villa or a courtyard villa, normally they have a 1.5 car garage, so enough room for a car and a golf cart. So it's just not real convenient for, I think, couples, especially if you have 2 cars. But they're small. And now your larger courtyard villas, I mean, they can go all the way up to 1,800 square feet. But the large 3 bedrooms are between 1,600 and 1,800. That might be more, you'll see more couples in those. And they typically run around $330,000 up to about $450,000, depending on what kind of lot that they're on. But most people are either seasonal, single, or it's an investment home for renters. And so it's real convenient for people to come in. That helps keep their costs down for those investors and for those renters. So renters will like to come in here 2-3 months out of the year. So villas are kind of your starting point, and then they go up from there. So people like to save money when they come down, and that's the best way, is to start with a patio villa or a courtyard villa. All right, so Gina, I hope that helped answer your question about these villas. Martin asks, do you have any idea when the squares will open? You know, I don't think anybody does. I thought we were well on our way through phase 2 into phase 3 when things just kind of blew up in Florida. So there's no telling. And the villages are not going to take that chance. And I even know, I've heard some news reports that they're trying to limit the ability for people to sue in the case that they feel like they get the COVID virus somewhere. So trust me, they have been sued so many times for so many different things. I remember when I worked for them, somebody put a little toddler on the fence when we had buffalo here, and some of the old timers may or may not remember the buffalo we used to have here. And then they stuck a carrot out, and they were trying to tease the buffalo to come closer to the toddler. Well, the buffalo got mad, and he charged the fence, knocked the toddler off, and they sued the villages. So that's just one instance. So they're very, very, so the buffalo were gone after that. But they're very careful about any potential risk for a lawsuit. So you're probably not going to see any of the squares open till that COVID virus starts going down. Why do most homes only have a microwave fan over the stove? Oh, and rather, I don't know, LG, I really think that a lot of them are vented outside. Some of the older ones, I noticed some of the least expensive ones and older ones, you'll find where it's a recirculating fan that goes through. But for the most part, yeah, you might look up in the cabinets over the microwave and not see anything. But that vent is kind of an oval vent that's inside the wall that goes through the roof, and it's there. So you probably just don't realize. You probably looked and thought, oh, I don't see any vent in there. They don't have vents, but they do. Any sinkhole activity in or around the villages? So look, there's sinkholes everywhere in Florida. We are on an aquifer. A river of water runs underneath Florida. That's where we get our drinking water source. So at any given time, there could be a sinkhole open up somewhere. And the majority of the sinkholes that I've seen in the villages all happen in a retention pond. So that's because they dug out, the upper layer, and they got a lot closer, and we have a lot of clay and sand and lime rock underneath us that those layers protect. But, when you start scraping away those layers, you have more of a potential for sinkholes. So I think now the villages are lining all these retention ponds so water can't seep through and cause a cavern to open up. So I have seen less and less sinkholes happen. But the one case that I looked at where 2 homes were pretty much destroyed was a secondary result of the sinkhole, because it was actually a culvert, a metal culvert that went from the storm drain in the street in between the 2 homes out into the retention pond, and that culvert held water, and that's what was, but they're galvanized culvert pipes, but somehow something happened with the coating and it started to rust, and it rusted out, and then when that sinkhole sucked all the water out of the retention pond, all the water went out of that culvert. The culvert, caved in, and all the sand and earth caved in, and then it caused a lot of damage between those houses. So, but that was kind of a freak thing with the retention pond getting a sinkhole, sucking all that water out, and that culvert being rusted out. They don't normally rust out. They're galvanized from rusting. So, will they let you replace the mobile home with a new one in the historic district, or do you have to go with a site-built home if you want to replace? You can do anything you want. You can pull that mobile home off and put another mobile home, a manufactured home, modular home, or site-built home on there. So you can do whatever you want on there, Mike. What is the cost to use the amenities like pools, pickleball, etc.? So the amenity fee is $162, and that pays for the pools and the rec centers. It also pays for the community watch, security people, pays for the people at the gates where the man gates are, and it pays for the executive golf courses. So that's what that $162 a month amenity fee pays for. Okay, so all right, Melody. So thank you very much for that. She says her microwave vents to the outside. So really, I think the best way to tell is not opening up those cabinet doors over the microwave. I mean, that's the old way. I mean, in some of the older homes in the 1995, 6, whatever, you might see a little box in there where they've done it. But like I said, now they started putting them through the walls. And if you just go outside and you just kind of have to line it up and see that there is a vent over the stove area there. Okay, so hi Patricia Taylor, how are you? Thank you for saying hi, I appreciate that. PGH Pix, I work from home. When I moved there, does the villages allow 2 separate internet lines into one house, one for personal use and one for my job? So, I'll tell you this. The villages does not allow any businesses to be run out of your home. That's in the deed restrictions. So what I can tell you is, let's say you're an accountant. Tax day you have, or tax month, let's say March and April, you have people in and out all the time. If you get a crabby neighbor, they can call up and say, hey, this guy's running a business out of their home, and people are parking out on the street and it's causing a problem. Then you're going to have a problem. So yes, they'll allow 2 lines, but I'd just be careful about, how you have that done, or you might want to go satellite maybe on one and the Ethernet in the other, or coaxial, I guess, from your cable television. But just be careful about running a business. If you don't have anybody coming in and you're just doing your own thing and you're not bothering anybody, you'll never have a problem, okay? Kind of like pets. 2 pets are allowed in the villages. So if you have 3 or 4 dogs, people aren't going to say anything unless they cause an issue. If they bark a lot, or if you let them run around the yard, or they get in the neighbor's yard, or whatever, you'll have a problem. But the rule is 2 pets. So let's see. Hopefully that helped you. Approximately how many previously owned homes are up for sale? So, I don't know if everybody's aware, but the village's sales office has their own listings, their inventory, and we have our inventory. And we pretty much run close, 50-50. We have about 360 homes in the MLS for sale on the market right now. And I would probably say the villages probably has about, properties of the villages probably has about the same, okay? So about 700 total. Is there a way to get historical utility costs for a listed home through an online service? I don't think so. I mean, the homeowners are more than happy to provide they're more than happy to provide their utility bills. They'll show you what they pay for water, for electric. So that's never a problem. If you're interested, just let us know. If I'm your agent, I'll let the seller's agent know we want to see some utility bills. But I don't know of any online service that where you can go to see that. Is the plantation also a golf cart friendly community? It is. And they have a little bar and grill there, and they have a nice golf course there. They have 3 different rec centers there. So you can get around by golf cart anywhere you want in the plantation to those amenities there. Are some homeowners selling because they can't afford a second home now because of COVID, or no? Or are more people buying to get away from New York, et cetera? Yes. That's what I found. People are just kind of fed up with what was going on in their hometown, in their state, and they saw the way Governor DeSantis kind of handled things down here, although maybe some might not agree with the way he handled things now, but I don't know. You look at the COVID map and the whole country's red. So it's just something, I guess, that just couldn't be avoided, and it was delayed for a little bit, but we just have to wait. But that's why when we hit phase 1, I was getting phone calls like crazy. I was selling homes like crazy just through videos. People were buying homes, and you had to do it. You had to buy a home through a video because there's no way. If it's a nice home, it was sold before you could even get down here. So somebody called me up and said, I can't believe you dropped whatever you were doing and in 2 hours you had a video. Well, I have Christian here. I go out, I take the video, I have Christian edit it and send it off the same day, and we just try to get it to you as fast as we can so nobody else can jump on that home and get in on top of you. Okay, so Melody says you can work from home but not having people in and out. Okay. I would just say, Melody, check the deed restrictions, because I haven't read the deed restrictions, I'll be honest with you. I haven't read the deed restrictions about jobs. I just know that's in just about every single 55 plus community, which is where I specialize in 55 plus communities. So all those communities around there have a clause in there about operating a business out of your home. So I would say, let's check it out and check the deed restrictions and see exactly what it says, just to be safe. Tricia. Hi, Ira, to PGH Picks. Yes, that is fine. I have the same thing and called the deed office to verify and said if it was not my company, I was fine. Hope that helps. So I guess Tricia was working for somebody else. She didn't have her own company, but I think PGH was saying, not my business, it is a job. So, yeah, there's a lot of people that come here and do consulting work and make a lot of money doing it. And so nobody even knows if you're working from home or... So I guess it's just in the verbiage of the deed restrictions, and I guess it's probably what they're saying. You just can't have a job or your own company out of your office and running your own company. Again, to be safe, if it is important, we'll check it out. Deed restrictions you can find at districtgov.org. If you go to districtgov.org, that's the village's community development district. You look in, I think it says neighborhoods in there. You can find all the deed restrictions by going to districtgov.org, and that's going to tell you. That's the place. Districtgov.org, you can learn just about everything and anything about the villages. Hey, William and Teresa. How are you? Thank you for coming on the chat tonight. And Melody says, I think the internet would be up to the cable company setting up the internet. And that's why I was saying, you do have other choices. I mean, you can have the satellite dishes, the small satellite dishes, so DirecTV or what's the other one? I forget. But, a lot of people get service, internet service right from those satellite operators. So might have Cox Cable deliver through the house in one, and maybe a dish Dish Network in the other one. Do they have fiber optic internet service? Also, do you have to join Medicare Advantage to use village area medical services? So I think the village's healthcare system is operated under United Healthcare. They have partnered with United Healthcare. Also, they've partnered with the University of Florida. And UF is in here running the hospital and maintaining the village's healthcare system. But I believe it's all done through United Healthcare. So I lost my place here. So where are we talking about? Okay, do you have to join Medicare Advantage to use Village? So I don't know. I don't belong to the village's healthcare system, and I know it is set up through United Healthcare, and so I think it's just like any doctor's office. So if you have Medicare Advantage, then you probably have less of a copay than if you don't have it, right? But I don't think you have to join Medicare Advantage to use the village area medical services. Now, if you're not talking about the village's healthcare system itself, because they have their own healthcare system, there's many more medical providers around that don't belong to that medical healthcare system, and it's just business as usual, whatever it is, for you to get your health care. Do they have fiber optic internet service? So I know the fiber optics are underground. From what I know, like the Cat5 cables and optical cables, I don't believe are run up to the houses themselves. It's either coaxial through the cable people or whatever the satellite service is. Oh, thanks, Tricia. I appreciate that. Okay, so Christian, my assistant, he is kind of monitoring things, and he's giving you a link right there to the districtgov.org. If you want to just click on that, and there you go. Sylvan, oh hey Sylvan. So I've been working with Sylvan, and he's asking what are some of the other new developments, 55 plus, where you can still get new builds. So like I said earlier, Stonecrest, just down the road, still has the builder in there, Armstrong Builders, building new homes. Let me take a second, though, to talk about that. And here's what I'm going to ask all y'all to do. In the case of these new home communities, if you would like me to work with you on a new home, I need you to work with me and help me out here, because just this weekend I went to Del Webb. I was showing some people around on top of the world, and then we went over to Del Webb Stone Creek, and I showed them around Del Webb and showed them the models over there at Del Webb Stone Creek in Ocala. And I had to get a pass. And so I got the pass, got through the gate, showed the models, came back, dropped the pass off. When I went in the sales office, there was a couple talking to the lady at the counter, and I kind of waited, and then she looked over. I said, hey, here's your pass back. Thank you very much. I had my mask on because they required a mask when you walked into their sales office. And the lady said, you're Ira Miller. And he goes, yeah, you're Ira Miller. And He didn't even see my face, but they recognized my voice. I said, yes, I am Ira Miller. And how did you know? And they said, well, your voice is very distinctive. We recognized that voice as soon as we heard it. And I said, that's great, that's awesome. They go, we're here at Del Webb Stone Creek because of you. We saw your video on these models, and we live in Tampa. We came up to check it out. As soon as you walk in the sales office, they're going to assign you a sales agent in that sales office. And so unless I am instrumental in bringing you, since they said to me, we are up here because of you, the receptionist says, I will put your card with them because you are the ones that brought them up here. But I need to be the one that's instrumental in bringing you to these communities if you would like me to work with you. Okay, that's just the way they work. If you go in there on your own and you get set up with another agent, and then I try to come in after the fact, it's a huge struggle. It's a huge struggle to get me involved with the whole process at that point. And so I'm asking you if you will work with me, if you'll call Paige or me. Paige will get your information. She'll send it off to the different communities. You'll be registered under our name, and we're good to go. And then even if you go there without me, I do have preferred agents who I work with, who I've handpicked because of their exceptional customer service. We'll get you with those people, and you'll be very well taken care of. But so I'm asking, please get with us first before you just show up at one of those communities, if you want me to help you and work with you in the whole new home process. Now, all those other communities have pre-owned homes as well, and so those new home agents don't sell pre-owned homes, but I will. So I can help with you with new homes or pre-owned homes. So please get with us first, and we will get you registered and taken care of, and then we're all protected and we can move forward. Okay? So what are some of the other developments? Well, Stone Creek, or Stone Crest, like I said, which is a mile up the street. We're a little over 5 minutes from this office right here to get to Stone Crest. And then that's probably the only community that's 55 plus community that's building new homes close to the villages. But you have Stone Creek in Ocala, On Top of the World in Ocala. And stay tuned, because I spent 3 hours this weekend filming some of the models at On Top of the World. You're going to love them. Christian should have those up and running. You'll see the Classic series and the Cottage series. The Cottage series they're like the Villages villas, but better on steroids. They're awesome. So in the next couple of days, by Wednesday, Christian, I know you're watching, have that video up for those On Top of the World. That is the kind of the series that starts their models. All right, so the prices are incredible. You'll see. Can't wait for you to see this new video. Then the Premier homes, the Premier models we'll probably have up and running. I don't think we'll get them this week because we're going to really be working hard on the Cottage series and the Classic series. But those are your entry-level homes in On Top of the World. Del Webb Stone Creek only has, they have the garden homes, which are like the villas, just like the Cottage series and like the villas here in the villages. And then they have their other regular models, but they don't have series like the Villages does and On Top of the World does. All right, so Stone Creek, Trilogy by Shea Homes in Ocala and On Top of the World. Those are 4 communities you can build new homes in. What is your process for working with sale by owner homes? All right, awesome question. Who asked me that? Johnny Driver. Love the question. Thank you for asking that. Because I work with for sale by owners. But if you reach out to a for sale by owner first, then and then you say, hey, will you work with my realtor? They'll say, absolutely not. But if you say, Ira, there's a home on 2910 Garden Street in the Villages, it's a for sale by owner, will you kind of check that out for me? Absolutely, I will. I'll call the owner up. I'll say, hey, I'm a realtor. I have a possible buyer for your home. Will you work with me? And will you pay me a commission for taking care of the whole process? I will write the contract. I will send it, get it set up at the title company. I'll do the whole thing and make it go sail through to a smooth closing. So, so that's why that's a great question. You have to ask me first to check the for sale by owner out. 90% of them will say, absolutely, you bring me a buyer, I'll pay you a commission. All right, so it's what I do, it's my job, but you know, I'll get it all taken care of for the seller and the buyer, and then I'll take a video. So if you call me, hey Ira, can you check this for sale by owner out? I'll call the person, hey, I have a buyer, I'd like to do a video of your home. I come over, I'll do a video, and I'll send the video to you. If you love it, we'll write the contract, we'll negotiate, we'll get it all taken care of, and that's how that for sale by owner process works. Okay? Pretty creative. Hi Ira, saw you on the Skip Smith Wednesday night show. Great job. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love doing that. And so I'm waiting for Skip to call me or email me to bring me back on because I'm available whenever he wants me. Hurricane. Hello, Ira. Hope all is well. Any news on the 4th square they will be building? Like I said before, so like I talked about earlier, they're telling all their sales staff there's not going to be another square. Well, you can't always believe what they say, for one. I think there has to be another square. There has to be another square. There's no way that there cannot be another square with all the homes that they're selling. Because if they don't, they're going to get so far out, nobody's going to even want to buy anymore because it's too far to get to a square. And so I know when I was selling in Marion County, people were giving me a hard time about buying a home up in Marion County because it was so far away from Spanish Springs. And we didn't even have Lake Sumter Landing yet, much less Brownwood. So they're going to have another square. How big will it be? Honestly, I don't think they have the heart to build any more squares like we have now. I just don't think they have the will. I don't think they have the heart. So in my opinion, my impression would be they will build a square about half the size or maybe even 2/3 the size. No, not 2/3. I would say half the size of what they have built up to now. And where I think they'll build it is right off of the exit there by the Coleman Prison where the new Finney, DeSoto, Linden, McClure, all those new homes are going up. They have to. There's no way they cannot build another square and satisfy all the people they're selling homes to. So they might tell their sales office, their sales staff, they're not going to ever build another square, but they have to. I don't believe that. Do you think short-term rental rentals will slow down this winter due to COVID? It depends, because the squares have to open up. Golf never shut down. So, I mean, the golf courses never shut down. The restaurants did, but the courses themselves didn't. The restaurants are open now. They're not closing down the restaurants. Honestly, I feel like we're going to kind of reach the curve, and we're going to start going down. And so by this winter, it's anybody's guess of what this virus is going to do. But the villages are going to be extra cautious, and they're not going to open up the squares. And I think if they don't open up the squares, a lot of people aren't going to come down, you know. So that's my opinion. So I'll probably say yes, it will slow down this winter, unless we get a good drop off, and by January, this COVID thing has kind of come way down. Is flood zone A insurance reasonable, or is it something to try to avoid? I'm not sure if I understand that, Mike. So, okay, flood zone A, it's usually AE. So if you're looking at a flood map, it's either going to be X or it's going to be AE, which is a flood zone area. But if you're in AE, you have to pay flood insurance. I would try to avoid it. I mean, being in a flood zone, I wouldn't want to pay. I think it's like, well, I'm not even going to go down that road. You'll have to call an insurance agency and find out how much more it is for flood insurance, but I think it's considerably more. So I'd try to avoid that, Mike, and you know, Chitty Chatty is right now, Chitty Chatty and Bradford, those are the two new communities where they have the flood zones. So just be cautious over there. Figure out which is a flood zone and which isn't. And like I said, they brought a lot of fill in there to try to fill in a lot of that area, because if it's not in a flood zone, it was still in a low-lying area. So I would be extra cautious over there. A couple of months ago, we toured a couple of communities with you. Joe Bolker. Oh, hey, Joe. We agreed to follow up, but we never heard back from you. What happened? Oh, you agreed to follow up, but we never heard back from you. What happened? What happened, so I have two assistants, Paige, I have Christian, and now I have Christina. Christina is a licensed real estate agent, brand new, brand spanking new. And so I've taken her under my wing, and I'm teaching her as much as I can, as fast as I can. And so it's Paige's job and it's Christina's job to follow up, because quite honestly, you know, right now I'm one guy and I do my best to try to accommodate and service all the people that I can. But I think the operative words there are a couple of months ago. So as I just explained, as soon as a couple of months ago, we hit phase 1, the dam burst open. And so I told Christian, I said, look, what I did was I would video a home for somebody, and I would start the video off with, hey, this is Ira, the village's expert, and I'm making this video for so-and-so. And if they decide that they don't want this home, I'll put it on my channel. Well, more times than not, they bought the home, and we kind of just left it off the channel, left it unlisted. I told Christian, I said, go ahead and put all of those homes that we've sold by video on the YouTube channel, and just put a banner on there, sold through a video. So we did that. But Joe, I apologize. I have 15 sales right now as we speak on my board, and I guess a misnomer about real estate for people is that I'll take you out, show you some homes, write a contract, and then we negotiate the contract, and then we get a deal, and then I go on to the next one. It doesn't work that way because there is so much involved from the time I show you these homes until the time we close on these homes. There's a lot involved. There's financing involved. There's home inspections involved. There's repairs that need to be done. You know, it's just a lot involved, and that's why I have two assistants. I don't know many people that have, you know, two assistants, much less one assistant. But the dams broke open, and so I had to put it on Paige and Christina to follow up with people. So Joe, I apologize if I haven't been able to follow up with you. I was kind of leaving that to Christina. But honestly, you know, I do my best to try to give every single person I work with my full attention. I don't even like answering my phone when we're touring. I usually transfer my phone to Paige when I'm out with folks. I like to give you my 100% focus and attention and answer your questions, give you my suggestions, and do my absolute best to look and see if I see anything wrong with the home, tell you what I see, and, you know, and it's a process. So I give you my full devoted attention when I'm with you. As far as follow-up goes, I mean, my calendar is full working with people every day. And so my full attention is with the people that I'm in front of. So what I guess I need to say is, please, if you need me, call me. I put my phone number on every single video. That's my personal cell phone. You can call me. You can call Paige. You can call Christina. Please call me because, and I hate to say this, I don't want it to come out wrong, but I don't have the time to follow up with everybody. I expect everybody to call me if they need something. So please, I am an open book. It's an open invitation for anybody to call me if you need anything. I work till 11 o'clock at night just about every single night, answering emails. Drop me an email, drop me a text message, call me. You can do any of that. I'm here for you. But as far as follow-up, I have to leave it to Paige and to Christina. And hopefully they're trying to reach everybody. We have a lot of people that we work with. So that's why I have to count on you to call me, Joe, okay? So I really hope that comes out right and not the wrong way. I don't want to seem like I don't have time for you. I always have time for you, but please call me. And then I will give you whatever time and attention that you need. Laura, hey, Skip let you come over here on this live event, huh? Aren't the HOA fees high on top of the world, meaning more than $350 a month? Yes, well, in the Premier Series. So, cottages, classics, Premier, and estates. Cottages, classics, you own your own property, you take care of your own property. Estates, you own your own property, you take care of your own property. It's a little over $200 a month for those homes. The Premier Series, which are very popular, are called leasehold, meaning that they have a 99-year lease and they take care of everything. They take care of mowing the lawn, watering the lawn, mulching, trimming the hedges, painting your home. There's a lot that they do. So if you're looking for a maintenance-free living and lifestyle, and you don't want to bother with that, go with one of the premier homes. But it's $363 a month to do that. And that includes all your amenity fees. That includes all your recreational activity. It includes taking care of the common areas. So I guess if you look at it like you're going to pay an extra $150 to have On Top of the World take care of your house for you. Mow, again, I just want to emphasize that's irrigation water paid for. Painting of your home about every 7-8 years, I think it is. Trimming your hedges. So, that stuff adds up. So if you want the convenience of them doing that for you, if not, they have the other 3 series. Okay, thanks, Laura. Duster G, thank you, Ira, for all you do. I love the drone shots. So, I don't know if you all heard the story about the drone, but I had some guy from Drones Unlimited get on there and, tell me, I flew my drone for 3 years, never had an incident. And by the way, I'll get to that in a second. Never had an incident, so this guy comes along and says, hey, you don't have a drone license, and you're flying in Class D airspace, and you're doing this, and you're doing that, and all of a sudden, after I got that email, I got a call from the FAA. Hey, we got a report that you're flying your drone, so you kind of you can kind of decipher that yourself, whether or not who turned me in. But after 3 years of flying my drone, never having a problem, never having an incident, I start getting these hate emails and comments on my YouTube videos, and all of a sudden I get a call from the FAA. So I go ahead and I start studying. For a month I studied for my drone license. Come to find out, everything you study about a drone is what I studied as a pilot, as a student pilot, trying to learn how to fly. And I spent 6 months taking flying lessons and courses. And so I didn't even, you can go and you can go to one of these courses and spend $250 to $500 for a course. Once I started getting into it and watching the videos of some of these people and learn about the test, it was everything I learned as a student pilot. And so I got my drone license now. So I am flying that drone and can't get harassed by Drones Unlimited anymore. Have you heard when the music is starting to play back up? I guess that's on the squares. And again, no. We got to get through this COVID thing, and it has to be significantly lower than what it is now, because the villages aren't going to take a chance on somebody saying they got the COVID virus at the square watching the band and sue the villages. They're just not going to. They're not going to do that. Can you break down more than one condo fee? I'm not sure what you mean about that, Lords. Please kind of elaborate on that a little bit for me, if you will. I'm not sure what you mean about than one condo fee. So are you implying the current Morris generation will be cheapening out on a new square south of 44? I guess that's what I am implying, but it remains to be seen. I could be wrong, but right now they're telling their sales staff they're never going to build a square. So that's just what my friends at Properties of the Village's sales office are telling me. According to the Village's website, they are building Sawgrass Grove, which I believe will include entertainment, shopping, dining. That would be the 4th square. I'm not aware of that, so I'd have to check on that. So Jerry, I'll have to check on that. So Laura Lamp is asking Jerry, do you know where the Sawgrass Grove is located? Can you talk about reverse mortgages? Martin, I'm really not a mortgage lender. I have limited knowledge on reverse mortgages. So I just really would refer you back to your mortgage lender. Or I could refer you to a mortgage lender. Be more than happy to do that for you. I have a few people I work with in different mortgage companies that I can refer you to if you need a referral. Since Gary, Linda Glass. Oh, hey, Linda. Since Gary passed away in May, well, I've decided to sell our home and take an apartment in the Twin Cities near San Antonio. Okay, yeah, Linda, I'm really sorry to hear about Gary. I met Gary and Linda, I think, in February. And so I was shocked to hear about his passing. So, Linda, I'm really sorry. You know, my condolences. And I have all my notes about when we met. And so my sincerest condolences. And I'm really, really sorry to hear about Gary's passing. So thank you for letting me know, about that. Thank you. I believe it would be somewhere south of Bradford. Okay. and they're talking about, that's what Jerry was saying about Sawgrass Grove. Would you be able to help me find a home just outside the villages? I would even look in Ocala, anything up to 30 minutes or so away from the villages, not looking for a retirement community. So, Patricia, yeah, I do specialize in 55 plus communities. However, I live in Ocala, and for 20 years I have commuted from my home in Ocala, to the villages, and I worked for the villages sales office for 9 years before I left there, and now I've been working here at ERA Grizzard Real Estate for 11 years. And so I sell homes anywhere from as far north as Ocala and into Claremont. So a half hour away from the villages is in my wheelhouse, and I can help you purchase a home anywhere around the villages. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. We'll just need to sit down and talk, for a little bit, or at least on the phone, and talk about what your needs are, and then I can go ahead and get you set up on one of our auto email blasts. So any of you that are interested in getting homes from the MLS sent directly to you, and get immediately, as soon as I get them, you get them. We can get you set up through our MLS system, and just give us, your name and your email address, and tell us what your criteria is. I get so many people, I say, well, what's your price range? I don't know. Okay. Are you up to $1 million? $650? Honestly, folks, I need, if you can provide me a price range, it is extremely helpful, because homes in the villages go anywhere from $180,000 to $2 million. And so, if you're not, at least say, well, under 650 or under 500 or whatever. Give me a price range. Let me know if there's a location in the villages that you want to be in. Here's what I tell everybody: find the home that you love and buy it. Don't worry about where it is located in the villages. Don't worry about that, because There are recreation centers, there are squares, there are stores, shopping centers, swimming pools, golf courses, anywhere you go in the villages. So my recommendation to you is, let's look at the home that you fall in love with and buy it, regardless of where it's located, okay? So that would help you and me immensely if we could have that mindset. I have a lot of people that come in, oh yeah, I have friends that live in the villages. They say that you don't want to live anywhere north of 466A or 466, or you don't want to live in Marion County. Let me tell you, Marion County has some of the best prices in all of the villages and the nicest home sites in all of the villages. So, just saying, I would not limit myself to a location. And I love Marion County. I've already done part 1 and a part 2 on the Marion County section and why I think it's so great. But you can watch those videos, see what I'm talking about. Lords, I am not ignoring you. I promise you I'm not. I'm just, I'm not understanding what home you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about the condo that I have listed, because I do have a really nice condo that has condo fees, or I'm not sure really what you're inferring. So I apologize. Would you ever help me? Okay, so I hope, Patricia, yes, I can help you find a home anywhere, and we can just draw a circle around the villages, a half hour in any direction, and I'm sure we can find you the perfect home. Michaela, are you leaving me? Do any of the village homes have tile roofs? How long does an asphalt roof last? All right, so I've seen one home in the villages with a tile roof, one home, and that's in Tierra del Sol. I've seen villas with tile roofs. So De Laguna, I believe, is one villa neighborhood that has all tile roofs. And I forget what the other one is in the village of Santo Domingo. There's another villa community. Even two-story villas. They're unattached, 2 stories. There's only one neighborhood in all the villages that have 2-story villas with tile roofs. They're pretty cool. So, all right, Brian Mathis, great question. Great question. Hi, Ira, appreciate the videos. My wife and I enjoy visiting the villages, and I'm considering moving there. My question is, I'm 51 and wondered about the age restriction. Any help with understanding? So, what I can tell you is, there are people, so there's something called an 80-20 rule in the federal statutes that say, under federal guidelines, in order to discriminate because of age in any community, there is this 80-20 rule where 80% of the population in that community has to be one person on the deed, not both, 55 years of age or older. So 80%. There's some communities that say, well, that's fine on the federal level, but our deed restrictions say 100%. One person on the deed needs to be 55 years of age or older. But in the villages, it's the 80-20 rule, one person on the deed, 55 years of age or older, but there's other people in that 20% that are under the age of 55. Now the biggest thing and the biggest concern is not really the age, but there's people in their 40s that live here. But you cannot have anybody under the age of 19 that lives with you in your home. So if you have a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old, 2-year-old, your neighbors are going to rat you out and you will not be able to live here because of that. So you might be 55. I had my first child at 44. So by the time I was 55, she was 11 years old, but that's why I don't live here, because I have a son that's 18 years old. So can't live here with an 18-year-old. So that is the strict and firm rule. No children under the age of 19. You can live here under the age of 55 if you like. Not a problem. Oh, hey, Jamie and Kathy. Hey, thank you for joining us. So I'm working with Jamie and Kathy currently. So wonder if any other 55 and over communities have music on a regular basis like the Villages. On Top of the World, they have their own little square there. And they do, I can't remember, I think they perform 3 nights a week on their little square. Not every night, I don't believe. I think it's 3 nights a week, but nobody's performing right now. So On Top of the World does have their own little square. And then even downtown Ocala, the historic district, they have their own little square in downtown Ocala under the gazebo. And Friday and Saturdays they have their own live music there as well. So there you go, Melody. Thank you for confirming what I just said. She says, that is what I did. I found my home I wanted. I am really far north in Marion County, only 5 minutes by golf cart to restaurant, shopping. Oh yeah, there's a great shopping center up there at the northernmost edge of the Villages in Marion County. Great rec centers. They have a great emergency and police station up there. So I think it's 2 minutes is the average emergency response time for up there for an emergency. Ram, I love your videos, Ira. Thanks for being that said. Where do you see prices going with the pandemic economic impact? So here's what I saw. We had, for 2 months, everybody sheltering in place, nobody going anywhere, nobody doing anything. All the governors up north would not let anybody out of the house, no restaurants open. So one of the first states to open was Florida. So as soon as we opened up, bam, everybody started calling, wanting to buy a home. And I got really busy, and it's kind of slowed down now because of the increase in the COVID-19 virus that's going on right now. So I was really starting to see prices creep up because it's all about supply and demand. But now that things have kind of slowed down here because of people being very cautious about coming down now because of the COVID-19 virus. Our inventory is starting to build back up. But I'm going to tell you, I'm predicting that once we start getting on the downside of that curve, that things will pick back up again and prices will start going up again. So it's slowed down for the time being. And I really feel like once we get on the downside of that curve, we'll see everything kind of start to pick back up again. So Michaela, she bought at 51 in Stonecrest. Melody bought at 47 up in Marion County in the Villages. What are the closing costs in Florida? James, that's a great question too. I love that question. That's awesome. So sellers have the bulk of the closing costs. Sellers have all the commission, buyer side and seller side commission. They have to pay what are called documentary stamps in Florida, and it's $7 per thousand. So Florida does not have a state income tax. That's another reason why a lot of people are coming down here, to avoid state income taxes up north. But the way we get money for our budget is through the sale of homes. So $7 per thousand. So a $200,000 home, $1,400 is paid by the seller, and that goes to the state of Florida. Then there are title insurance policies that are paid by the seller, not the buyer. Those are close to what the documentary stamp costs are. So they're about $1,500 for a $250,000 home. So a buyer only pays about $600 in closing costs, and that's outside of about a $400 fee for a home inspection. Home inspection and termite, which they call WDO, wood destroying organism inspection now. So that's pretty much the bulk of the closing costs for a buyer. Now that's if you're paying cash. If you're getting a mortgage, your mortgage company is going to charge you closing costs for the mortgage. And so that's kind of what kind of mortgage you're getting. You can get a conventional FHA, VA. They have 95% conventional mortgages. It depends on whether or not you're paying PMI, private mortgage insurance, or not. So closing costs, if you're financing, can be all over the place. I know VAs have the highest closing costs. They're anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 for your average $200,000 to $300,000 home, because you're paying all that private mortgage insurance right up front to the VA. They're not even letting you pay it on a monthly basis. They collect the whole thing for the whole 30 years, and that's some of the reason why you have such high closing costs for a VA loan. So be careful about VA loans. Always ask for what's called a good faith estimate from your lender, and they have to provide you with a breakdown of all the costs, and see what the costs are for a VA versus a conventional. You'd be astounded. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this up a little bit. It's 7:30. I think Christian has to get home and get something to eat. So I'll answer a couple more questions here, and we'll probably just wrap it up here shortly. So hopefully that answered your question, James, about closing costs and the difference between cash closings and finance closings. What are other communities that have golf cart lifestyle where you can go shopping? I would say on Top of the World. They've got a lot of shopping right outside of the On Top of the World gates that you can get to by golf cart. And Stonecrest has a ton of shopping up and down 441. So those are the two if you really want to go shopping by golf cart. What if you have more pets than two on the deed restrictions? Well, like I said, Cindy, you could have, if you have more than two, I would just make sure that they're not a nuisance, because if they are, somebody's going to complain. So be careful. Rami, thank you. David Roach, absolutely 100% of the time I recommend a home inspection, because you just need to know. And it's kind of like an insurance policy. If the inspector misses something, it's on him, right? But he's going to go up there, he's going to look at your roof, He's going to go crawl up inside the attic. He's going to look underneath there, see if there's any leaks in the roof. He's going to look around. He's going to test all the electrical outlets. He's going to pull your electrical panel face off. You absolutely 100% of the time need a home inspection. I just encourage that completely. So don't buy a home without a home inspection. James, you can pretty much call me. The best time to call me is like between 5 and 6 o'clock at night. That's the best time because I'm either usually still here in the office or on my way home, and I talk on the phone all the way to work and all the way home. So between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, probably the best time to call, and between 5 and 6. But I'll answer my phone. I kind of cut it off around 8:30 at night. So call. I'm here for you, James. Ira, one more thing. Why is there a higher premium in block and stucco home built versus wood and siding homes? Are they built better? Good question. So, one of the main reasons is with a block and stucco home, you have to pour the slab. Well, pour the slab, and then you have to hire a block person to come in and put up the block. Then you have to hire somebody to come in and pump the concrete lintel around the top of the block. It's a cap. It's capped off. And then they put your hurricane straps in there. And then you could bring your framers in, put the trusses on, put the sheathing on, put all your framing inside your home. That's for a block home. With a wood framed home, you pour the slab and then send your framers over there and they build it from the ground up. So you don't have all those extra steps. You don't have having to have a block mason and a concrete pumper and the block itself is, I think, probably more expensive than just the wood. All right, current mortgage rates. Oh my gosh, 2.75% for a mortgage. Historical, unheard of. Never in history has there been a 2.75% first mortgage. Now I've seen some HELOCs, home equity line of credits, that were that low, but not a primary first mortgage at what the mortgage rates are today. That's what's keeping real estate going. And so I just hope and pray that these mortgage rates stay low because that's what's going to keep driving the real estate market. All right, folks. So this has been an awesome hour and a half. It just flew by. I really appreciate everybody who participated, who asked these questions. I don't know. I didn't get any live calls. I don't know if maybe it was on our end, but nobody really called in. I'd have loved to have chatted with somebody, but this was good too. So thank you all for attending. I loved doing all the questions. I'm going to try to make this a weekly thing. So I forget what Christian said. Monthly at least. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. I don't want to step on Skip Smith's toes either. Skip's the man. He's got this going on every Wednesday night live. So all of y'all try to catch Skip Smith on Wednesdays. He's a pretty entertaining guy. So we'll see how it goes. I'll do it at least once a month. I'll try to do it every week. Just kind of depends on how things go, okay? But at least once a month, I'll promise you that. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time in our live videos.